Friday 28th of Feb to 2:37 p.m. That's where Immigrasi is, over there. That is the immigration building. So I came by bus from Harmony. I couldn't find my bus card, so I had to buy another one, 40,000. So I arrived in Kota, and you walk across that to the Immigrasi, which will have 5,000 people tonight as I come here to hang out in the evening. So I get in there and go to the counter, and she asked me for my receipt, and I gave her that, and she gives me a bill for 500,000, 50 Australian. Well, I paid that when I arrived at immigration, when I arrived at the airport. So I assumed there would be no further cost. So that means it costs $1 million, which is $100 to extend for a month. Now, for that amount, you can get a return trip to KL and pick up a litre of booze on the way. So why the hell would you want to extend unless you're traveling on into Bali or Lombok or somewhere where it may be difficult, or some parts of Indonesia where it's difficult to actually extend your visa, you know? So I cannot see the point of extending a visa in Indonesia for more than 1 month. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so she gives me the bill, and you pay it near the ATM in the same office, Gedung A, and they're closed because the system is offline. I said, well, why? It's a government department. How could the system be offline? But it is offline until 3. And I said, well, really? What happens? I'll come back at 3 and it's offline again. With a big smile, she tells me that it will be online at 3. So at least I know that the visa has been approved for an extension, which is good. But things always take a little bit longer than you anticipate, right? In anywhere really. Indonesia is no different. So create a buffer zone, give yourself some space. Another thing is that my flight details, which were printed out 23rd of March, 3:50 p.m, and you use that form to secure your booking at the airport, they took that when I applied for my application 3 days ago. So if they don't give that back, then I have to go to Lion Tower, which is next to Shakti Hotel, to get another copy. So things like that you just have to pay attention to. But it's all good, you know. Nothing compares to me and you. And it's Kota Tua. Kota Tua, the wide open spaces of Kota Tua. And I'll sit here until 3 and then return to Immigrasi for it's the third time I've been there. The first time I went there, first day I went there, they gave me forms, and I photocopied my passport and visa. And the next time I went there, and they advised me I needed an ongoing flight ticket, and so the next day, probably the next day, after securing a flight ticket from Lion Tower, Lion Air, I returned So this is my third visit to immigration to get an extension. So if you're thinking that it's going to happen within a half an hour, you walk in and just extend your visa. Well, it didn't happen like that for me. But it is wonderful Indonesia.